Hey guys, it's Lorathiel here again. I wanted to do a tutorial today on how to fix square pillars onto wedges so that they all align properly. Um, Unfortunately, without a mod like less building replacement or less building placement restrictions or eminence placement helper, it's kind of hard to make it 100% reproducible. So you may just want to cop out and use round pillars like in the training set. But I'm going to see what I can do to help you out. And if it doesn't work entirely, well, maybe it'll just be a good referendum to Funcom on why they need to finally give us arrows. So, as you can see here in my base, I've got all these pillars so that they're actually lined up properly and are facing the same direction. Additionally, the Turanian pattern is aligned properly on the floor. And if you've ever tried to do this yourself, you may be aware that this is not easy to accomplish. Even though the newest DLC has some rounded pillars into it, you'll notice that try and place even those, the capital ends up facing the wrong way. It's askew and not lined up with the rest of the building. Same thing with these Kitai pillars that I've got. So in order to get everything to actually line up properly, you have to employ a fair amount of trickery and have to be willing to accept the fact that you're going to have to build, destroy, and then rebuild some stuff. So let me try and set up a little test stage here. Now one thing I've noticed as I'm snapping in blocks here, it seems like anytime I want to add a new block, at least if it's a square, then it always wants to point at the oldest block in the vicinity. See, so I've got the less building replacements arrow visible here. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see this arrow on on a console or a vanilla PC server like an official, but it is something to keep in mind. Now, while it snaps to the oldest piece like that, with squares, with wedges, it's a different story. You can see here that it always wants to place them slightly askew. So for that balcony that I created in my base, that's problematic because it means that every time I try and place one, it's always going to be misaligned from the pattern on the rest of the floor. Now, the ironic part about this is the fact that this alignment is exactly what we need to get square pillars to line properly with the floor. So, in order to get everything to align properly, what we're first going to have to do is we're going to have to just place down the floor so it's all misaligned. And I found that the easiest way to do this on a server that doesn't have LBPR is to use black ice wedges, since they actually have a visible internal line, something that folks have been asking Funcom for ages on the other pieces, because maybe your eyesight's good enough to see the minute variations with the internal geometry of these, but I'm 44 years old. My eyes aren't that great. I cannot see those well enough to differentiate easily between one side and the other. So what I find helpful is when you want to do a balcony like what I've got in my base with those lined up, we can use the black ice and just look at the line that's internal in them right here along my cursor. And you can use that basically align these things properly. And what you'll want to do is you'll need to make sure so that the outside is also properly aligned for these square pillars, that the line connects through and goes, as it goes from near to far, it's going to go to the left. Okay? Like so. All right. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and you'll see that our square pillars align properly with the floor, even though if we were to do a replacement with a terranium piece, we'll see that the texture is misaligned. So we can, we'll be adjusting that later. So, get our pillar started here. And I'll just keep these square ones here just so you can see the difference. As you can see, the base of these can similarly get misaligned if we see how that's not facing in the same exact direction as the others, even though the floor texture's gone the right way. Even with the new Argosian, this is still important. Just going to this is just so that we have a roof to attach and hold the tops. Because what we're going to find here is that we're basically going to have to we're going to place the ceiling in there, complete our pillars up to the ceiling, and then we'll break the ceiling, get it rotated in place to fit our needs, and then the pillars, as we know, will stick to a ceiling even if the foundation under them is broken. And that's what will allow us to be able to align the bases properly. All right, so this is the single most frustrating part of this, is trying to get these tiles to align properly up here. Because what I discovered is, even though some of these pieces have internal geometry that's visible to them, like the, you can kind of see it there a little bit. The, these sandstone wedges, it's got kind of like a cross-shaped pattern inside of them that's visible. It's a little bit hard to see against the sand, but you can make out when it's perpendicular on that. The only issue is, when you upgrade this, it does not keep the same alignment. So here it is with the arrow from LBPR pointing inward. You can see that the cross lines up properly. So it's nice perpendicular, but for some reason the engine always wants to make it askew when you go to upgrade it. So you can't place other pieces that are easy to align necessarily and then hope that you're going to be able to get it aligned properly. The best you can try and do is 1, 2 rotations, 1, 2. And try and count, basically. See if you can figure out the proper number of rotations to get everything lined up properly. 2. Let's go take 3 there. 1, 2, 3. Rolling upwards. 2, 3. So it's aligned. So, LBPR makes it nice and easy, but on officials, this could be problematic. But you will eventually get there. It might just cost you a lot of materials. So, now that we've gotten the ceiling aligned, our next thing to do is going to be, we're going to break out all these foundations underneath. And as you can see, even though the pillars aren't touching the ground, because of the fact that pillars can be suspended from ceilings or from like the roof of a cave or whatnot, if you want to use them almost like cables to support a platform, they will stay put. So at this point now what we can do is we are going to place all of our floor foundations back in here. So once again, you're not, those of you on officials or consoles, you're not going to have this handy arrow from LBPR to guide you. So it's just going to take experimentation on your part to try and count how many rotations you need to get these things lined up properly, which, I've done this. I actually did that haul with all the pillars on my base before I added LBPR, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie. Funcom really needs to add this basic feature for us so that, folks on consoles and official servers can actually have nice things too. You shouldn't have to, you're required to repeatedly break and replace the same pieces over and over again just to get something nice looking. There's plenty to do in the game and plenty to grind without forcing somebody to do something that monotonous. But anyway, so this is how you get square pillars to line up on wedges, as well as how to get the textures on pieces that have no internal markings to align properly between squares and wedges. Hope you guys have found this helpful, and Funcom, please throw us a bone here. Thanks.